Welcome to another flavor-filled episode of Travel Preneur, the podcast that taps into the business side of the travel world. I'm your host, Meghan McSwain. Today, we're diving into the heart of Belgium's beer culture with an extraordinary guest, Liselot Caura, the founder, owner, and guide of Beer Secret. Liselot's journey from a sales career at a local brewery to the creator of one of the most immersive beer experience companies showcases her passion for Belgian beer and culture. Let's learn how Beer Secret offers unique beer tours that blend educational insights with personal stories. Welcome to the show, Liselot.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Liselot, transitioning from sales at a gent brewery to starting Beer Secret must have been quite the journey. What sparked this shift, and how did your previous experiences shape Beer Secret's mission?
Yeah, when I was selling beers, it was mainly about the fact that I was always curious to know more. I was asking a lot of questions to everyone in the beer industry. And that's why I thought one day that I actually knew what I wanted to do as an independent activity, because I felt always ambitious to do something on my own and to become my own boss. But I didn't know what until I found it. In the end, it was first my secondary job, but then 3 years later, so in 2019, it became my full-time. And of course, it was super challenging because having a sales career doesn't mean that you have the skills to become an entrepreneur in the end. So very challenging.
Yeah, you have to wear a lot of hats when you have your own business. It's not just one job, it's a lot of different jobs.
For sure. Pricing is something that I think in our industry is not always easy. And then you have so much operational tasks that are part of events industry in the end. So yeah, there's a lot of things I can tell, but I'm just going to listen to you decidedly.
It's a never-ending saga, right?
Yeah,
it can go on and on.
Different stories.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Beer Secret is renowned for its educational yet intimate tours. How do you and your team design these experiences to cater to beer lovers, beer fans, and those new to Belgian beer culture?
How do we design it? So it's like, how do we, like the communication that we use to customers?
How do you kind of create a tour that will kind of engage beer experts, people who are very into beer, and then people who are just sort of new to the subject, specifically Belgian beer culture?
True. Well, it's true that we have a mixed audience. It's just that we have beer tasting tours we offer where it's registered individually. And how does that look like for the customer? Is that actually we will make sure that the beers we offer are usually for both of the visitors new. It can still be that there is a client telling us, oh, I've tried the beer, but if that is only one customer of the 10 customers, we are pretty sure about our choice of beer that we will still keep our choice of default, let's say, okay? So what we do is like for us, it's very important to make sure that we offer those different beer styles, because when I did it 5 years ago or 8 years ago, because we're celebrating this year the 8 years anniversary, by the way.
Congratulations.
So I remember in the beginning, it was not about different styles of beer. It was, my knowledge was not that high like it is today. And so, but if you guarantee that you have different beer styles that you can offer to the customer, they will discover a lot. And at the same time, you have a story ready for each beer. That is something that the customer is looking for. And what else is taking them to special places that they won't maybe find on their own. And so it's a good mix of some hidden gems and maybe a place that is a little bit less hidden gem, but then we make sure that it's completely different style of venue than the hidden gem.
And what goes in, what considerations go into selecting locations or selecting these beers to ensure that it will be something that will really excite the customer?
Well, like sometimes there are beer styles that are not really known abroad. So we know that some of the beer styles, which are bad in marketing themselves, we can do like the marketing. We can show that this is an exclusive beer style that actually needs a revival. So we are like working on the revival of that beer style, and we're not the only one. There are also breweries doing that. But I like the idea to kind of promote that type of beer style and at the same time, that type of breweries. Like there are breweries that don't have their own sales team. And that's nice for me if I can promote that beers in my beer tour. But at the same time, I think it's also important that you would choose a brewery to work with if they also have a little bit of an exposure themselves. And so if you do a kind of almost partnership collaboration with them, it would be nice for you that in somehow they can maybe also promote your business.
Sure. You both are helping each other by partnering up. Kind of you're getting more eyes on their beer and their brewery, and hopefully they have a loyal clientele that's learning about what you're doing. Now, obviously they like beer if their clientele is going to be beer loving, customers. So I feel like you guys can both kind of benefit from that kind of partnership.
Yeah. And it would be the same. You can have the same idea about the venues that we look for, Would be nice if we find a way how to put a little bit of publicity of beer secrets on the wall, for example, or if they're using our beer coasters.
Sure.
Or if we can, I call it like leave my marks, and we put some stickers on the wall of beer secrets. If we're not allowed to do all of that, then it's sad for us because we go there every week with 20 customers.
Sure.
And there's nothing that we get in return.
Right. Yeah, it should go both ways for sure. Yeah.
And sometimes Belgium is a country that we have a lot of bars that are actually full with customers. So that is very challenging to be an extra value to come with my customers to their bar, to be honest. So sometimes if you see that it's like they are not like really begging you to come every week, then these are ways that you can still collaborate with each other.
Sure.
Or even putting them in an let me think, like promoting them in hours that they were, for example, not successful because they can be super crowded on Saturdays, but try to find ways then that they will have moments in the week that they actually want to work, that they are begging to.
Right. Like those hours that are not peak hours, kind of off hours that might be a little bit quieter. You can bring in, group of 20 people, and that can really benefit them where they might have no people on a Tuesday afternoon or something like that.
Exactly.
Right.
So I have been challenged with a lot of times that I felt like this bar is too crowded on that specific time that I come. Well, try to find solutions for it, don't get stuck with it, and make sure you talk with it. You talk with the owner about it and see how you can find a solution.
Yeah, get creative. Beer secret tours are not just about beer. They focus on local culture and history as well. How do you integrate these elements to create a holistic guest experience?
Yeah, that's a good one. It's true. We actually focus on the local delicacies, like having the local mustard of Ghent. Is something that we have never had a customer that says, I don't like this mustard. Like, it's amazing.
Right.
The compliments about that. And then there is also chocolates. And I think that's the main thing that has been increased in value in our tours since a few years. That we actually see that they found it very unusual to pair chocolate with beers. But
that is interesting.
Yeah. But then we have the advantage that it's actually both Belgian.
Yeah.
And it's still something unusual to do as well in Belgium. It's not that's
very common. Right.
It is actually not common. There you go. So
right.
That's a good approach that we have taken. Yeah. Operational, logistically, it's sometimes a little bit challenging. So if you find that something is not working good, also review it and see how you better change that, and maybe ask €3 more to your customer in order to make it yourself logistically maybe a little bit easier.
Right. And team building activities are a significant part of your offerings. How have these been received? Can you share an impactful moment from one of these events?
I must say that it was surprising that during COVID, I've got customers looking for an online beer tasting. So I was actually in contact with very interesting companies. And since then, I have received my positive reviews about what we offer. And then I must say that, I mean, the fact that you're offering an activity where people can have a tasty experience, but also a very cultural activity and also a very educative activity, it makes sense that team buildings are also interested in that, because you want to interact during a team building. You want to that your people in the team building have a food or drink experience. Usually, people always like to drink or eat.
Right. So that's the best part of the team building.
Yeah, and especially the engaging part. We are one of your USPs is that we are super engaging with our customers. And that is not only important for the tourists, but also for a group of team buildings, making sure that the colleagues are going to know each other better by asking, what is your favorite beer and to which restaurant do you go? And then they're talking and getting to know each other better.
It helps kind of bring down the barriers from people who might not know each other that well on a personal level. It just kind of helps ease the comfort levels.
Yeah, exactly. So even if you have a product that's not each individual inside the team are interested in, that's just a team building. Maybe not everybody will like beers, but they are maybe forced to participate in a beer tasting by their bosses.
Right. Liselot, hang on 1 second. I have to pause this for just 1 second.
Yeah.
And then we'll just resume. I'm sorry. We had storms in Houston, remember when we rescheduled before, and I had a worker in the house trying to fix the electricity and the air conditioning and everything. So sorry, apologies for that. Okay, we will continue here. Your commitment extends to organizing major beer events and collaborations like with Visit Flanders. How do these initiatives contribute to Beer Secret's goals and the broader beer community?
Yeah, it's very interesting to collab with major parties, major institutions. Yeah, institutions is maybe not the right word. I mean, sorry, English is not my first language. I'm a Dutch speaker.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
Sometimes I have to find my word, but like collaborating with associations, companies that that are big, like Visit Flanders. It makes sense that this is for me an important party, and that they have all the connections around the world that will reach out to them and asking, oh, where should we go when we want to do this in Flanders? Where should we go if we want to do that in Flanders? So, of course, it makes sense that I want to be connected with them.
Sure.
And then if one day they're asking me to do like a live event, to help them in a live event where to host some brewers and to visit breweries and share my knowledge, then it's an amazing opportunity for me. So it is very important for me to stand still with those opportunities and just make sure that you take the right decisions in order to achieve your own goals. It was a little bit challenging for me because in the end, Visit Flanders asked me to host a kind of live online event during COVID that was called Tour de Geuze. So I had to actually present a text, like a presentator, to all beer geeks around the world, telling them about the stories of the breweries that I visited a few weeks before. And that was challenging because it's not my main focus to be a presentator. But in the end, I did a good job. I know if I speak to a public in real life, I can speak to a camera or
Right.
200 people. Not everybody would be able to do that, but I had the confidence in myself to go for that project. And now, of course, a big team of Visit Flanders know me. And even sometimes I have visitors in my tour that tell me, oh, I remember you from that live event, Tour de Geuze. And then recognition of me as a beer host is very, very high that moment. So
Right. You're becoming more well-known within the community.
there you go. Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
And the travel and tourism industry is continuously evolving, as you know. What trends do you see impacting the future of beer tourism? And how are you kind of preparing for those changes?
It's a difficult question, eh? In the travel industry, beer tourism, you said specifically?
Right, beer tourism. There's so many changes happening. I mean, especially after COVID, we see how much things have changed, and beer tourism is such a niche industry. Yeah, how do you see things changing? Are things pretty much the same?
I would say there are companies trying to sell like online experiences. That's definitely something that could be a challenge, but it could be possible that this is not really working. We've noticed that I wish there was not so many OTAs, to be honest. OTA, I think it's needed to explain what an OTA is. Is that correct? Yeah. It's like OTA, the travel industry. It's an online travel agency,
right,
where people can, it's like TripAdvisor and Airbnb experiences. It's a website where you're going to try to find activities.
right.
It's like going to Amazon and finding your product, but then specialized in experiences. And so they're taking a lot of commission in order to have that's their business model, of course. So then it's a little bit challenging for me to see if I actually have this marge of selling my products on their OTA platform and then still having enough profits to offer that tour on that platform. So I think they are doing a little bit, they're asking a commission from, someone is asking 15%, another OTA is asking 30%. And I think, what the hell, 30% is actually ridiculous high. And if you make for yourself a cost, what you actually is the commission that you pay to that OTA, that's incredibly high. So taking into account that maybe you could use that money to invest in Google Ads, for example, who knows, that might be a much more interesting investment,
than being on that party's site.
So I understand I am on there, so I'm not experienced enough with Google Ads that I have not done it myself. But that's my challenge now. I have to see like, what is actually the cost that is there? Can I use that in a different way? But sometimes customers, they just love the idea to go on one website and actually do their shopping.
It makes it easy for them, exactly.
For sure. It makes super easy, yeah.
What advice would you offer for those inspired by your journey and looking to start their own travel business, particularly in ensuring authenticity and passion in their ventures, as you have?
You want me like to share one specific main advice?
Right. Or, I mean, if you have a couple of things, any advice you can offer to our listeners.
Yeah. So what I mentioned before is like, make sure you have a win-win situation with who you partner with. At least if it's possible to find as much as possible win-win situations that you feel both of the parties love together, work together, and you promote a little bit each other. Another,
like a partnership that works where you can help each other and both entities come out winning. Sure.
It's actually a supplier, it's like, I'm dependent on them of how my experience is going. If I go to a bar and then the customer is there in that bar, okay? So that's the type of partnership exactly that I'm talking about. Another thing is like, sometimes I've experienced that people give you advice, but make sure you listen to people that have experience in the field to give you that advice, because sometimes you just get advice from family and friends, but maybe it's not always the best to listen to them if they don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
If they just don't know how it feels to have your own business. I'm thinking of maybe about another third one. I think that it gives you a lot of energy, maybe not for everyone, but I found that now that I'm having a small team of beer guides working for me, they give me energy too. I see that how they like to guide people around and share the things that I usually was sharing to every customer, while I now only share it to 35% of my customers, because the other ones also are hosting tours in my place. That gives me energy. That gives me a nice feeling as an entrepreneur that I'm actually choosing my own team,
Right.
And yeah, that's actually lovely. I'm growing quite okay to maybe be on a point one day that I could hire one employee. And I'm very excited about the idea that I would come in the office in the morning and she or he is asking me like, "Hey, Liselot, how was your beer tour yesterday? I saw that you went on a tour with two people from a while. And so then this person would be maybe at the office, but the other day maybe she would help me with a big group of a team building. So I of course make a lot of tours myself, but there is also other tours that are done by one of my team partners, and so the team can consist of beer guides, support, admin, like office job. Office job is for me something that I need help in, and that's why I have now an intern. So make sure first you test working with interns, because that's your first experience to delegate the tasks.
Right.
And then if you feel like you're ready to do delegates and not finding out yourself how to delegate and what is exactly the task that needs to be done by someone else, if you feel like I'm ready to share that, then see if you can afford hiring an employee. But again, I'm not I'm not there myself, but I'm experiencing by my intern.
Right. I think I've spoken with a lot of people and asked this question, what advice would you offer them? A lot of them, so many of them have said, build a good team. Your team is so important. They're an extension of yourself. So yeah, that's excellent advice. And hiring interns is a great way to sort of give them a trial run and see, is this person the right fit for, my company? Am I a right fit for them? So yeah, great advice. Thank you so much, Liselot. This has been a wonderful deep dive into the rich world of Belgian beer and the innovative spirit of Beer Secret. Let our followers know where they can connect with you and where they can learn more about Beer Secret.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Thank you. So my website is easy. It's beersecret.com. And you can also find me on LinkedIn, Liselot. It's Liselot. And then my last name is Caura. And I'm always eager to, give you advice personally. And then going back to the Beer Secret in general, there's the Instagram account, beer.secret. And then the Facebook is just Beer Secret.
So wonderful. Yeah. Lots of ways to connect. We love that. Liselot, thank you so much for sharing your story. To our listeners, thank you for joining us on this flavorful journey. Remember to follow or subscribe to Travel Preneur for more inspiring stories and insights from the travel industry's leading figures. Cheers to your next adventure. May it be as rich and satisfying as a Belgian brew.